Hello, welcome to our weekly devotionals. We've reached the midweek portion, Wednesday, for our series of devotionals. And this week we are looking at one of the Easter Sunday readings from the Acts of the Apostles. I remember a conversation, it's kind of an argument actually, between two people in the church a few years ago over the Pledge of Allegiance. One of the folks who was debating this issue felt that it was important for the Pledge of Allegiance to be said in schools, that kids should know that we are one nation under God. And the other person argued, as Christians, we pledge allegiance only to Jesus Christ. First and foremost, our allegiance is to Jesus Christ. And I think this is kind of a thorny issue in American Christianity. And of course, I love our country, and I think being patriotic is fine. But I think that nationalism and love of country sometimes gets sort of intertwined with our Christian beliefs. That Americans believe that our country is a Christian nation, and that things like the flag and the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance are just as important as our Christian faith. God and country, we might hear. I think that Peter, in our passage this week, might beg to differ with that mentality. He says in this passage, "You know the message he sent to the people of Israel, preaching peace by Jesus Christ. He is Lord of all. He commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that he is the one ordained by God as judge of the living and the dead. All the prophets testify about him that everyone who believes in him receives forgiveness of sins through his name." And when Peter says this phrase, Jesus is Lord of all, he's making a rather radical statement, because he's making that statement in the midst of living under the oppression of the Roman Empire. And what Peter is saying is that the realm of God that Jesus inaugurates comes before the Roman Empire. Later in the book of Acts, Peter will actually say to the face of a Roman centurion, a Roman military officer, that Jesus, a man who was crucified on a cross, is exalted above the emperor of Rome. For Peter, it was pretty clear where his allegiance lies. First and foremost, with Jesus Christ. I remember a story about Abraham Lincoln. It was during the midst of the Civil War, and a preacher approached Lincoln and assured him that God was on our side. God was on the side of the Union Army. God was on the side of what was considered the United States of America, and not the Confederacy. And Lincoln responded by saying, "I'm not really concerned if God is on the side of our country or not. I'm more concerned about being on the side of God." Love of country, sure. But God and country? No. God over country. Amen.